Hello everybody, this is Money Mom. Welcome back to the channel. As you probably have noticed, I'm sporting a new look. Actually, it's an old look. I am going to talk about what it cost me to live in the 1980s. I moved to Dallas, Texas in 1988 from St. Paul, Minnesota. So this is kind of how I dressed in the 1980s and the kind of makeup I wore. And I wanted to show that this sweater is actually from the late 1980s. Let me tell you about what my income was in 1988 and what it cost me to live. I think it's kind of fun looking back on old times and look at how we spent our money and how we also spent our extra money compared to nowadays. So let me get started. When I first moved to Dallas, Texas in 1988, I was a teacher at a private school. I made after taxes around $900, $920 a month. Wasn't a whole lot. What was my rent? My rent back then in 1988, I rented a one-bedroom apartment, one bath, stackable washer and dryer. It was 533 square feet. We did have our water heater in there, which did increase the electricity. The rent was $300 a month in 1988. And this is right in Dallas, Texas, Northeast Dallas. The electric bill was averaging about $100 a month. I know that seems high, but number one, the heat, in the winter it wasn't as high, but they didn't average your bill, and we had our own water heater in there, so it was quite costly to keep that place even slightly cool. So that's what the electric bill cost. My food, I budgeted about $20 to $22 a week on groceries, and because I did not own a vehicle, I had to walk to the corner to get the groceries and walk back home. So I wouldn't be able to carry very much. Number three, I did have a phone, but I did not have call waiting, and it was just a basic phone, and I had to pay for my long distance. I think I spent around $50 a month. I tried to keep it pretty low. My college loan, this is what I thought you guys would think is interesting. My college was about $5,000 a year. I graduated University of Wisconsin, River Falls. Don't know if any of you know where that is. It's actually not that far from the Twin Cities. And I think it was around $5,000 a year for our college, but I did have to take out some loan money that first year, and so my college payment, you sent in a coupon with your payment. And so I wrote out a check. It was $55 a month. When I hear about what it is nowadays, I'm like, wow. And so because college back then was usually $5,000 to $6,000 a year, that included dorm and food and books. Then I had to buy a bus pass because I didn't own a car. That was $68 a month. And the Dallas busing system is not the best because the city is really spread out with all the suburbs. So what we had to do back then, and I worked in Carrollton, and then I moved closer, then I got a teaching job closer, which was great because I could actually walk to my next job, which was awesome. I loved that. So we would have to go all the way downtown Dallas, catch another bus, and take us all the way to where we needed to go. So I spent a lot of time on the bus, but it was $68, and that got me all around, and I could use the bus as often as I wanted, which was really good. So that's what it was with that. So these were all of my costs. Sometimes I had extra things. Now, what did I spend my extra money on? Was I good with my money? Not really until a couple years later, till I was about 25. I basically bought a lot of clothes with any extra money, and I opened up charge plates at Foley's, Dillard's, and Lord & Taylor's. Yes, I was dressed cute, but I charged things, which I had another video about that, about how I got a second job at Sally's Beauty Supply to pay all that off and to never be never have consumer debt again. Then I also was teaching, so I bought teaching supplies, and I love to take pictures of my students. So back then, I cannot remember, I think it was Eckerd's, if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. It was a drugstore that had a photo lab, and so I would pay to get my photos, to get them developed, and I love to take pictures of the photos. So this is what it cost me to live back then and what I spent my money on. The thing that I didn't do is I didn't save. But as I got a little older, I started doing extra things like babysitting. I got an extra side job, and I paid off any consumer debt, and I also quickly paid off my college loan. So I was debt-free soon after I got married. Let me know, guys, what did it cost you to live back in the 1980s? I always love to hear from you guys, and I promise I won't wear this makeup any other day but today. Thank you, everybody. Love you. Bye.